Alright guys, welcome to CodeChef May Starters. It's of course an unrated contest for Div 1. It's only rated for Div 3, so for starters, right? But I still think that it may be useful to practice for higher rated coders as well. Plus, it's always good to have some easy content, right? So, we'll hope to solve all problems reasonably quickly. Can we get please the problems? The problems lagged a bit. Okay. Let's open everything. I don't know if it's this order, but whatever. LAZYCHF. So chef is a very lazy person, and I respect that. It's always good in programming to be quite lazy, because this way you want, code something that's already here. So whatever work is supposed to be finished in X units of time, he finishes it in M times X units of time. But there is always a limit to laziness, so he delays the work by at max D units of time. Given X, M, and D, find the maximum time taken by chef to complete the work. It's a little bit ambiguous, but I believe that we'll figure out the details from the samples. We have T, X, M, D. I'm not sure if D means like a delay or before he starts working or in general. That's a bit ambiguous. Nope. I did? Okay. Okay. So samples. X is 1, M is 1, and D is 0. The answer is 1. Here X is 1, M is 2, M is 3, and D is 1. So he will wait 1 minute before doing anything. Okay. It is, and here for 2 times, I don't understand this. Okay, so now I see. Want to print minimum of X plus D and X times M. No, why did I click yes? I believe that this is what they wanted us to do. Yo, what? Okay, so 1, 2, 4 is the correct answer. So apparently delay means that he will start after at most D minutes. Therefore, the maximum possible completion time from one hand is X plus D, from other hand it's X times M. Definitely taking a long time here to figure out this thing, but it's fine. Yep, C++ 17, let's submit. Okay, got accepted, not surprisingly. Problem B, I suppose, correct sentence. Let's not make our mistakes again and create a separate file right from the start. So Chef knows about 2 languages spoken in Chefland, but he is not proficient in any of them. Okay. The first language contains lowercase English letters between A and M, inclusive, and the second language contains only uppercase English letters between capital N and capital Z, inclusive. Due to Chef's limited vocabulary, he sometimes mixes the languages when forming a sentence. Each word of Chef's sentence contains only characters from one of the languages, but different words may come from different languages. So given a sentence as a sequence of k words, determine whether it could be a sequence formed by Chef. Okay. So what do we want to check is that every word it contains only characters from 2 given languages, okay, and each word contains only characters from a single language, okay. So what we do here is we will do the following. So we have a Boolean flag that says if it's correct up to that point or if it's not. Then we'll read the next word and we'll check that word is good. And here we want to add not K but F, of course. Here we want to output yes if F and no otherwise. So now we have to implement the function good, which captures something, gets a string, let's say by reference, and returns a Boolean variable. So we'll create 2 Boolean variables, I don't know, A and B. Both are initially true. Each variable will be true. Like first A will be true if the language can come from the first. If the word can come from the first language, second variable will be true if the word can come from the second language. So what do we want to check? We want to loop our characters of the string if character, if it's not true, that character is between A and M. If it's not true, then A gets false. So I imagine I can actually write it like that. So for the word to come from the first language, we require something like that. For the word to come from the second language, we require something like that. And if any of this holds, it means that this word can come from that language. And if it doesn't hold, then it can't come from that language. Seems fairly reasonable. Whoops. Oh, because we have multiple test cases, of course. I forgot about it. And it means just we want to do that instead. But no, yes, no, as expected here, this word doesn't come from any language. It comes with characters of different languages, so it's not a valid word. Here it turns out that it's valid. Here, capital A is not a valid character. I believe we want to submit this. It's possible actually to be a little bit more careful and to define function good here. Because when you define a lambda, it actually takes some space and stuff, and I don't want it to be defined for every test case separately. Let's submit and see what we can get. Okay, got accepted. Oh, we have a problem about plagiarism. Interesting. Last time I remember Google CodeChef had a problem about plagiarism, and it didn't. Oh no, about cheating in a quiz, in a trivia quiz, if you remember. So we are an administrator of a popular quiz website. Every day you hold a quiz on the website. There are n users numbered 1 through n and m admins numbered n+1 through n+m, whatever. That's not really convenient because if new user comes in, you will not have the same indexing. For each quiz, each user is allowed to attempt it at most once. Sometimes admins attempt the quizzes for testing purposes too. An admin may attempt a quiz any number of times. On a certain day, the quiz was attempted k times. For each I from 1 to k, the i's of this attempt was made by the person with number li. Find all the users who attempted the quiz more than once in order to disqualify them. Okay, simple implementation problem. Have numerous test cases. We have n, m, have n, m, k, l. Oh, I didn't know that we. No, that's disgusting spacing. Okay. NMK apparently is the input format. The second line contains k separate. Okay. What we will do is we'll have an unordered map, like how many attempts each user made. And then for every of k attempts, we actually have to read the ID of the following user. If L is smaller or equal to M, we want to increment him. Because honestly, we don't care about admins, like just let them be. I assume. If ID belongs to a user, then we increment the entry in our frequency map. And then we'll have to print. Actually, you know what? I will go with map because I want them in ascending order either way, so. So that's it. And I want to loop over all entries of our map. If value is greater than 1, and I want to print. Oh, actually, I should not do it. I can. don't care. Do I want to print this size, or I don't? Yeah, first thing I want to print this size, and it's not all that convenient, if I'm honest with you. Okay, whatever, we'll create a separate vector, even though we don't technically need it, but C for cheaters. If value is greater than 1, then we want to push back a cheater. And want to output this size of the cheaters. And for every cheater in cheaters, we want to output them after a space, I imagine. We get exactly what we wanted, I think. And we don't care about admins. So we'll submit that. Okay, got accepted. It spent a little bit of time because we used map and vector, and probably you can do it faster a bit. Not likely that you can do it like much faster. Oh, probably N and M are small, so you don't actually need sorting if you have a vector, a frequency table, and frequency array instead of frequency table. It should be a bit faster. Actually linear time versus n log n, but doesn't matter that much. Okay, even more problems about cheating. I don't mind, we never cheat in contests. Let's copy the sample input straight away. So Chef's college is conducting an online exam where his camera will be monitored by one or more investigator supervisors. Once again, Chef failed to prepare for the exam on time and decided to Google answers during it. I understand you. But apparently this is banned. The exam starts at time 0 and ends at time f minutes. Chef needs a total of k minutes of Googling during the exam in order to pass it. There are n investigators, numbered 1 through n for each, while the ith investigator monitors Chef camera during the time interval starting at SI minutes since the start of the exam and ended at EI minutes. He was resourceful enough to somehow get hold of these times, and now he wants to know if he would be able to pass the exam. Okay, that sounds like just event processing problem, like you want all of these things are events. You maintain the count of supervisors who monitor your camera, and you process events in the sorted order. As easy as it gets. Okay, we have multiple test cases as usual. NFK. I actually want start and end times. And here we'll need a vector of events. Let's not be too smart about it and just call it vector. We have n validators, so we read this. Actually, it's of course vector of pairs, because you also want to store the type of the event, whether it's start of the interval or the end of the interval. What do I want to process first, starts or endpoints? I imagine starts. It doesn't, wrong language, sorry about that. So we have all our events in place, and now we'll have to do something about it. Okay. I want a variable that keeps track of current time. Okay, first, okay. No, we can use like x. X is a nice variable. X will keep the track of current time. And we also need to count how many invalidators are active during this time period. So we have like, now we want to loop over vector v. We have y and we have type. So whether it's opening or closing. Let me think. If we don't have invalidators acting at time point x, then we want, like, we can have a total of y minus x minutes of googling before changing the time to y. And if open, actually this is open, so let's do it that way. So like we check whether the current event means that somebody starts monitoring our screen, then we increase the count of monitorers, supervisors, otherwise we decrease the count. And also we would like to say that at the end we have some more minutes of googling. If as a result we got enough googling minutes, so we don't need anything more. Actually, if we have some minutes still to Google, and the answer is yes, otherwise the answer is no, I believe it's a clearer way to write it. Can anything overflow? That's one thing that you should ask yourself. K is at most f, and it gets decremented by at most f, so I don't think that anything can overflow. Nope. Okay, apparently we're getting some wrong answers here. Why would that happen? Maybe it's because this is actually inclusive. If it is inclusive, then we should insert e+1 here. And potentially I'm not exactly sure how it works. Okay, here we have two supervisors and we need 2 minutes, and we'll have minutes from 5 to 7 to Google. That's exactly what we wanted, no? Okay, because I read the input in the wrong order. It's NKF and not NFK. It happens, you always have to check for it. And now we get the expected answers, and one of them is tight, I believe, so it actually works as expected. Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm a bit worried about off by 1 here and here, but I think it's fine. Taking a lot. No, okay, it got accepted. DEQUEue, interesting name for a problem. So we are given a double-ended QQ. Initially it contains elements from Q1 to Qm in this order. Each of these elements is an integer between 1 and n inclusive, and each integer between 1 and n inclusive occurs in the queue at least once. So m is at least n. Okay. Want to pop some possible 0 elements from the front of the queue and some not necessarily the same number possible 0 elements from the back. Among all popped elements, each integer between 1 and n inclusive should appear at least once. Find the smallest possible total number. Okay, so that's like we clearly want to compute some prefix stuff and suffix stuff. It's actually interesting how we're gonna do it. Want to find minimum prefix and suffix that contain all elements. Naturally, I would try to no, but that's like wrong. It's wrong. I wanted to try just counting elements, but that doesn't work like this. Doesn't work like this. Okay, so we're at the input, now we have to do something with it. You may also consider what is the first occurrence and last occurrence of every element. And maybe it will help us somehow. I'm not exactly sure how, but we can definitely do that. Like, it doesn't make sense to go past first or last occurrence of every element. So one of the, like, we will delete exactly to position which is the first occurrence of some index. We don't know which index, but it will be the first position of some index. Okay. Oh, I should actually set them to -1s here and to m here. If first at qi is -1, first at qi gets I. Same goes in the reverse order. If last occurrence of current element is m, actually I should decrement them by 1 to avoid any issues. Okay, now it looks reasonable. So we know first and last occurrence of every element. How do we use this information to solve the problem? Is the last problem actually easier? I need to check it. No, actually this problem gets a lot of solves, and this doesn't. Okay. Focus. How do we solve this problem? This one. First and last occurrences. Yeah, the problem is that if we consider some prefix and it contains some set of elements, and set isn't exactly ideal. Because you can't quickly compare sets and stuff like that. Oh, I think I know what to do. Is it a set or a map? Set of pairs, I imagine. No, but then it's a map, right? Okay. So my idea is the following. We will add everything into here as follows. Fs at, here we have to be careful. I imagine gets f at I. No, but that's like, okay. We could have done it from the very beginning. If not, f count qi if not L count QI. This is helpful because you will see why. A is answer, initially answer is M, because we always can delete everything. Now we loop over entries of the first map. And no, actually we should say that answer is maximum element in first map. No, but no. I did it wrong. QI should be not the key but the value. QI should be the value. So actually what I tried at the beginning was correct. Okay. Fs at Fi gets I, am I right? And then ls at L of I also gets I. The reason is because map is sorted by keys and I want to remove them key by key. So our answer actually starts with Fs. What is the maximum first key and then first plus 1 because 0 indexed. Okay, so the thing is that Fs contains a map from position to value such that value first occurs at that position, ls last occurs. And we'll be able to use these guys to solve the problem as follows. We will remove one by one elements from the last map. So as I said, we can, our boundaries, we have an array, right? We will take some prefix and some suffix. This will be last occurrence of some element. This will be first occurrence of some element. We'll start imagining that we take every element we take from the beginning. So that means that we take maximum in Fs. And we'll add elements one by one to last and we'll remove them from the map. And because it's map, we'll quickly get. Wait, we want to remove from map by key. Wait. I am confusing myself. We want to remove from map by value. Because here we will get the value, and they says like, well, remove this value, right? Oh, I know how to do it. We'll just say like, set int removed. For also key value in last occurrences, removed, we insert value. And while this second value is equal to while it's removed, we want to erase it. But we want to, okay. We'll have to do it this way, but it's the same thing. We can also erase it. Or did it remove actually? It's not important. It's not important, guys. And we can speed things up a bit doing like this. Because I'm a bit worried about having too many logarithmic data structures. Should not be a problem, but okay, so now we are able to erase from map by key. Actually, we don't need it to be a map. We could have used it like priority queue, but whatever. Okay. While not so fast empty. A gets minimum of A. Here we'll have to be careful. M minus K plus fast empty. If it's empty, then we take 0 elements from the beginning. Otherwise, we take a fast maximum first. I imagine that this is how it works, but man, that was a confusion. Sorry, I stopped recording for some. I just misclicked. I want to clear the drawings. Not good, not good. Key is the position. Key is the position. I'm actually not sure why we have this situation. Is priority queue max by default? Largest, okay. And then we'll just use it for our purposes. So, position elements. We keep track of the removed guys. Now ask about top, then ask about first. Okay. I think that this implementation is actually a bit better. Okay, at least we get different answers this time, but they are still a bit wrong. First, maybe first plus one actually. Just like that. Because this index is 0 based. Okay, now we're getting correct answers. So we one by one we add elements from the end. We say like we will use the last occurrence of that element, and we'll say we no longer need to use the first occurrence of that element, and with this fancy loop and vector remove we are able to remove entries from the priority queue based on their second elements, so not in the reasonable order. It's somewhat similar to Dijkstra. You also remove values from the priority queue when you need to remove, when you need to get maximum, not when you need to remove. Let's test if this works. Hope I didn't make any stupid mistakes. Definitely terribly slow, but whatever. It doesn't matter if you get accepted, right? You will be a little bit disappointed by having extra penalties, but we don't have extra penalties, we just get accepted. So what remains is to solve some tree problem. And the tree problem reads as follows. We are given a tree with n nodes numbered 1 through n and q queries numbered 1 through q. For each valid I, the ith query, you are given ki nodes x1 through xki. Consider the smallest subtree which contains all of these nodes. You should find all centers of this subtree. Are you guys crazy or what? Bruh, what? What is a subtree? Excuse me? Excuse me? What is a subtree? No, I mean, it's important because if the tree is not rooted, then... okay, I just want smallest connected thing having all of these guys. That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible, if I'm honest with you. How is it for starters? Come on. There must be something wrong that I'm not getting with this problem. Because no, like my original idea is to solve it using, I don't know, lowest common ancestor in logarithmic time, probably in constant time if you have that many queries, but that's madness for starters. Are you guys serious? div3 LCA in constant time? That's stupid. That just doesn't make sense. Like, that's not a div3 problem. Bro, no, I must be missing something, because that's not the problems that you want to see in div3 contest. So you like legit I don't even see what is the That's crazy. No way. No way. It's an LCA problem. It's not. No, it's not like even clear what the heck. Because the definition of a subtree is different, right? I did not came to that contest to solve smart questions. I came to solve questions for starters. That's why it's called starters. You don't give such problems in a starters contest, that's for sure. If I have to sing, then how do you expect starters to solve it? It's like, not that I'm too cool or anything like that, but let's be reasonable here. If a 6-star coder has to sing, then it's probably not a problem for starters, right? This is just how it goes. Okay, anyways, it's relevant to the problem. Now, some information that is useful is that any tree has at most 2 centers, I believe. And of course you can find each of these centers with a simple 2 DFS algorithm. But clearly it's too slow based on the number of queries that we are facing. We want to find centers in constant time after we do some processing with the entire tree. Alternatively, no, but it's just mad. Like, yo, what the heck? You have too many. How am I supposed to take random nodes in a tree to generate a subtree that contains all these nodes and then to find its centers? This is just too complicated objects involved to be true. Sounds like a lot of work to answer in constant time. Because first you have to generate this, then you have to find the center. Center, by the way, is only this node, I imagine. Bro. No, for real, that's not nice. How am I even okay. I don't even know how to solve it, because LCA doesn't work if you don't have a root in your tree. And not every subtree of that form is a subtree if you root from an arbitrary point. That's just doesn't work like that. Oh, we should not do it like that. Should not do it like that either. Because I'm pretty sure it will need variable n later. Maybe it's possible to leverage the fact that the problem is posted offline somehow, but man, that is too complicated of a technique for starters. So we don't reach do that and that and that. No, honestly, I don't understand what's going on. Oh, I also need K. And we need X. Actually, I think that we may need all vertices at once. Obviously of size K. Let's imagine that we also can do that. Oh, bro. That's hard. The input and output for this problem are large. I do use FastDeal. Okay, good things. Good things. What are the good things? The diameter of that subtree will be a path between two selected nodes. But we have too many pairs to do anything more than linear with them. What the heck? I just want to check how our fellow D3 coders feel about that problem. Because I imagine that they feel that it's off. No, somebody solved it. How? You can't do that in D3. Can't do that unless you are like drastically underrated. What's that name? Yep, international master. Because you don't solve that problem if you're a D3 coder. Like that is actually reasonable. I just took a long time to solve it, so I don't know what the guy's gonna do after that, because that's just. But our D1 coders are getting better results. Already 4 successful submissions. Okay. That guy is crazy. Alex Weiss. But like even with DEQUEue, D1 coder is having somewhat difficult time. Oof, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. How do we find the diameter of a tree quickly? I don't have any ideas. LCA doesn't work because if you pick a wrong root, then your subtree is very different from the subtree in the LCA, meaning in the rooted tree, meaning I should say. LCA has nothing to do with subtrees as such. I honestly don't know that. Why do you use these problems in Div3 and not in like normal competitions? Huh? Could you please explain? Apparently nobody will answer this question, but whatever. I feel like I'm complaining too much, not exactly solving the problem. So I think it's fair if I take a break here, think about the problem and come back when I have some ideas and not just complaints. So we'll pause the recording for now. Upon some 20 minutes or 10 minutes, I'm not exactly sure, of thinking, I actually think that this is an LCA problem and we'll solve it as follows. We arbitrarily root our tree. It doesn't matter which way we do, we just want to have a root to our tree. I'm trying to come up with some reasonable example here. Doesn't really work, but okay. Now we have several vertices in every query. Take this, and let's say this. What we do is for each vertex we find its depth. That's not hard. We can do it once for the entire graph. So getting the depth of every vertex is O of n per query and O of n pre-processing. Once we have depths, we say that we'll try to find LCA of two deepest nodes in our query. For these two deepest nodes, it turns out that this is the LCA. We then say like, okay, the depth of the LCA is 2, therefore the length of this path is also 2. It's like 3 minus 2 plus 3 minus 2, it's 2. By finding LCA of these two vertices, we kind of merge them into one subtree. We then say, okay, we'll find the LCA of that guy, and next deepest vertex is this vertex. Now we actually have to think a little bit. But basically what we'll do is we'll find the length of the deepest and longest path going through this LCA. It will be 3. And then we will merge the next guy in. Take the previous LCA and the next node, not necessarily a leaf, but the next node. We find LCA. This way we actually find the subtree, the minimum subtree that contains all these vertices. Now we'll have to find its diameter in some way. And I want to argue that the diameter of that subtree will be one of the things like one of the paths that we consider through LCAs. Therefore, upon some careful consideration, actually like which pair do we care about, we will get our overall longest path and diameters. Something like that. And now we have to implement it quite carefully because, yes. Because it doesn't sound as if we'll get easy implementation here. So I might as well just leave it open like this. So luckily for me, I have some code that works with LCAs and stuff. It's a bit oddly written. But whatever. We also need the implementation. Oh my, oh my. But it's not a problem for starters, like, forget about it. If you're just starting with CP, then you can safely forget about it. It's not a problem that you want to solve on your first contest in CP, that you can expect to solve. I mentioned that I want, yes, size. Oh, and I want to append vertex. So that's like a strange interface that was relevant at the moment with dynamic queries. And now we are suffering with it. How exactly do we do it? Do I just want like to write my own DFS? Or, okay. Use of size and function void, I imagine, int DFS int vertex if use that vertex gets 1. Also LCA computer add append vertex append vertex. First goes parent, so in our case V then W. LCA computer initialize. No, first DFS. First goes DFS, then goes initialize. I believe that my LCA actually computes depths. Is it so, or am I wrong? Okay, it's not a big deal. We can compute depths by ourselves. Depths of size n. Depth at 0 is 0 because it's a root. Here depth of w gets depth of v plus 1. Bro. I have literally no idea how am I supposed to sort them a million entries, but whatever. Oh, I'll just capture everything by reference. So we sorted vertices by depths. Now we want to somehow repeatedly say something like LCA gets LCA computer computes LCA of xi and current LCA. Not in that order, however. Clearly not in that order. But in which order? Just reverse it? Yeah, maybe. And something is still bothering me. What is the path length? Is depth of xi minus depth of LCA. I will just do it like that. Then the depths, and we subtract depths as we get path lengths and edges. Why is it so complicated? Okay. No, we actually don't want to sort the guys. We want to have them in a different structure. which is, I believe, priority queue, and pair of integers. First integer will be depth, although I may pass it to, yeah, I will try it. No, in the custom comparator here, I didn't want to do that. Okay. First we have to decrement x. Did I? Yeah, I did not forget that. So also not like this. In place distance, then x, then distance x as the deepest node in that subtree. No, we don't want the depths. We also want the sync. That's one sync. Fortunately, this DFS cannot be defined outside of test case loop because it appends directly to LCA computer. On deepest node, okay. We'll have to make it public as well. Or maybe as well just make it struct. Because I want to access parent. Okay. No, I want, okay. Why is it so complicated? I did not agree to that. That's binary lifting. Gets parent of some vertex at a given depth or height. And the reason is because I want to use it on vertex U and class length over 2. I imagine that I also want to use it with such parameters. Here, however, I want to use it on vertex V. And if length is odd, then I want to get 2 of those guys. If length is even, however, then I only care about one parent. It's either the parent of U or the parent of V, depending on whatever vertex is lower or located. So that's it for centers. And my idea is actually we maintain the nodes, the roots of the subtrees that we constructed so far. Is it true that K is it no, K can be. There are no boundaries on Ki. Okay, whatever. Why is it so hard? This problem is a bit too hard. Answer is here. Longest path, diameter. We consider a pass, but not from U, but from D in U and D in V. Now we have to be very careful here. Diameter is maximum of what? Okay, first of all, we want to compute LCA of U and V, I believe, but then path length is actually different. It's depth of LCA minus depth of deepest node in subtree of U plus depth of LCA minus, or the other way around, And I actually, yeah, the other way around. because deepest knot is deeper than LCA. Depth of deepest knot in V minus depth of LCA. That's path length. Make it auto, just for variables to align nicely. I feel like we don't care. Yep. If path length is greater than diameter, and we would like to say the diameter of U gets U, diameter of V gets deepest knot of V, and LCA. No, priority Q, we should in place depth of LCA, and then if depth D in U is greater than depth D in V, then we should insert D in U, otherwise D in V. Sounds about reasonable. Maybe very wrong though. I don't believe it at all in my solution, but I don't have a better choice, I guess. You want to do something like that, and then figure out the details. Okay. It's going to be a terrible debugging session. But hey, I did not expect it as well. Okay, it doesn't compile. It's UV because I did not define U. I admit. Wait, what? Built-in client leading zeros is also undefined? will it compile like this? Okay. Perfect, perfect. Well, first of all, first issue is easily resolvable, is we output center, whereas we should output center +1 because of indexing. Runtime error, however, I don't understand runtime error. Okay, so either way, like in this test case, we have two edges. And the first query is from vertex 1 to vertex 3, and we output extra center. As from vertex 1 to vertex 3, clearly the center is only 2. And if I'm honest with you, then I don't know what's going on. Because here I should in place like 0, 1, 1, or 0, 0, 0 actually. Then 2, 2, 2. So like, okay, size of priority queue is at least 2. Okay. Pass length is greater than 0. So we'll... Oh. Okay, one more bug found. One less to go. Didn't really help, but we found a bug. That's always good to know. I remember there were some issues with this. Maybe I should just increase it. Nope. Something is not working and throwing runtime error. What can it be? What's your bet? Did it get parent? What if we just return an empty vector? How about that? Should 5 people solve it, or is it outdated? It's outdated, 8 people solved it. We're still getting runtime errors, so it was not get parents or get centers, although I'm still a bit suspicious about it. I added some debug information. Let us actually make it like this. Yep, close. So for some bizarre reason, DEQUEE and DEQUEE, we get values of 1 and 0. I can't imagine how this is possible, based on the fact that here we clearly get 0 and 2 into the queue, and nothing happens to them. I just don't understand. This is not how I wanted to spend my Sunday. CodeChef is evil. They take my Sunday away from me. That's time that I'm never getting back. And I don't even enjoy solving problems here. Excuse me? Oh, because I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. We only have n-1 edges in the graph, in the tree. It was written input in the wrong format. That is correct. Now 2 and 0 are correct diameters, endpoints of the diameter. Then get centers are wrong somehow. I don't understand where are the actual answers. Okay, I should comment that. I should comment this. After I commented everything, I should be able to see what actually the answers look like. Which appears to be wrong by a lot. By a lot. Oh, and we also wanted to sort them. So we're fixing another error here, hoping that it will change anything. At least we get them in sorted order by now. As we actually get the diameter, the endpoints of a diameter of vertices 2 and 0, which is correct. And somehow get centers works wrong. In the first case, we get that LC is 0, which is correct. This depth of U is 1, which is incorrect. Wait, what? U is equal to, no, depth is not 1. Depth is 2. Okay. Yeah, painful debugging sessions. Exactly what you want to do on your weekend. How is it? How did it even happen? How did it even happen? Wait, also, how is that vector does not collide with anything? Might be some very lucky shadowing. I don't understand, my DFS doesn't even compute the depths right. How is that even possible? Oh, because you assign distance before you go anywhere in your recursive DFS. Bro. I don't know, that is what you get. That's what you get. When you're a 6-star coder in CodeChef, you can't compute depths with DFS. That is just truth. Still getting the wrong answer here. That was not the only problem. Actually, here the query is 245. So I expect diameter is 4.5. That is correct. Diameter is 4.5. But then we somehow get 1 and 3. One and 3. That's crazy or what? Okay, so the endpoints of a diameter are 4 and 3, which is correct because actually that's 0 based, so they are 4 and 5. And LCA is 1, which is correct because 1 is 2. Depth of U is 2, depth of V is 1, path length is 3, and we return that. Path length is 3, meaning that we go here. Depth of U is greater, meaning that we go here. Here, all that we do is take parents. Parents 1 above and parents 2 above. And we somehow end with 1 and 3. Well, 3 is correct, but 1 is not correct. One is not correct. Something's wrong here. But I don't see quite what exactly. Should not get that center. That center is most likely coming from here. Or actually from here. Am I getting the parents wrong? Like in this case, parent of 4, 1 is 2, but parent of 4, 2 is 0. What? Parent of 5 with distance 1 is clearly 3. With distance 2 somehow we get to 1. What? We are just debugging samples. I don't know what to say. It's so terrible. I honestly don't know what to say. You asked who is 2 vertices above parent, above 4, you somehow got 0, so that's incorrect. That's impossible. Root is 0, right? Root is 0. Oh, probably because this line also has to be before recursive call to DFS. Okay. We still don't know if it's actually correct. So debugging session has only started. At least we got the samples right, but it means nothing. It means literally nothing in problems like this. And we won't even know. Okay. I just hope that we don't. What? Oh, because built-in. Okay. Why do you give me that notification when I'm already in this contest? Are you stupid or what? No, like, but honestly. Have you seen it just prompted me to participate in the contest that I'm already participating in? See? It's ongoing literally now. Wrong answer. But it is within time limit. So one thing I am thinking about is that there is actually something wrong with the logic here, slightly. Right? Must be something subtle that is wrong. Because if we have that many queries, you can't be right, luckily, okay? By luck, that is not accidental. It means something. What does initialize actually do? Oh, it computes depth first search, right? Now I remember. I'm trying to think what is the correct way to do whatever I did here. Oof. That is hard. Like 9 people solved it. In div3 7 people saw it. I don't know how, but they did. A lot of guys from Japan. Why am I getting images, not like normal results? Nope. Okay. I legit don't know how they solved it, but now we've seen that one of them is international master in code forces, so that's expected. Let's get back to drawing. I hope that we are not too wrong about the solution. Nah, let's just do this. So we have a tree, and then we have nodes, and we want to merge these nodes. I'm thinking, what happens if we have something like... Well, that's actually is not too bad, right? Right. Oh. But no, this never happens, right? I think it never happens. Or can it happen? Like the only problem that we may have is that if shortest path between deepest node in first tree, whatever that is. So we have like, yeah, let's just clear everything. I have two subtrees. Here is U, here is V, somewhere here is deepest node in U. Somewhere here is deepest node in V. Somewhere here is LCA. And can it so happen that the shortest path between the D in U and D in V does not pass through LCA of U and V? If these are two separate subtrees, then it's impossible. So the only problem may occur when one of them is subtree of another. We have U, here we have V, here we have D and U, here we have D and V. And again, how to get from this is possible. This is only possible if D and U lies in subtree of V. Then their shortest path is somewhere here. And how did we even get to such a situation? So D and U participated in some sort of operation that created U. So here we must have had some pair of D and U. They created U as their LCA. And V also had to be created in some way. So here we needed to have pair of D and V. they created V. And we think that D and U and D and V form a path like that, but they don't. Because this is not the shortest path between them. So what I imagine we can check is if LCA is equal to LCA computer, compute LCA D and U, D and V, then do whatever we want. Otherwise, don't update maximum pass. Don't update diameter, I should say. Maximum pass is some not a cool way to phrase it. Built-in, yes, that's so uncomfortable. It appears its answers stayed the same, so should be still correct. At least on samples, right? So. But I feel like it may be wrong, but I'm not sure how. Obviously, previously we overestimated answer. Now I feel like we can underestimate answer. Not cool, not cool. How about that? Oops. How about that? That changes things a bit. It is sad that we don't get anything for passing one test case. Because I believe it's II style. But still we don't get anything, unfortunately. Time limit exceeded on that case. Whoa, why? Probably because computing 2 LCAs is too complicated for you. What? Honestly? So I can compute 1 LCA but not 2. This is so strict. Oof, oof. Okay, how about that? Should be faster, right? Because actually I can just ask for parent of f. Like that. Taking parent directly is faster, right? So parents? What? Oh, because it's parents. Okay. Yeah, that's the wrong language style guide. Okay. Always be fast enough and correct enough. I feel like it still may not be correct. The idea is that yes, the centers are the centers of some paths between two selected nodes, and I believe that through some manipulations we should be able to get to not consider all pairs. But which pairs we should consider, I'm running out of ideas. Oh, now it's faster, but it's wrong. Now we clearly underestimate answer because we always take DLCA for whatever we wanted here. So we don't consider all pairs, and it results in suboptimal answer. How do we get around this problem? I don't actually understand what the problem. No, okay. I don't understand what the problem is with our logic. We should merge them in some specific order, and I'm not sure what this order is. Which pairs we don't consider? Let's think about this. Which pairs we don't consider with statements of this kind? If some node stopped becoming the deepest in some subtree, but it is the best. We have some subtree where we have a very deep node, and we have some node that is for some reason better. if we take anything out of that subtree, that not can be bad. So D and V must be in that subtree, and be such that this distance is bigger than this distance. I can only imagine this if D and V is very close to D and U, though their distance is short, this distance is longer. But then n must have been used. Okay. What if? No, we can't just always take with the deepest node. That's so wrong. If there are equal depths, we still may care. What the heck is this problem? I don't know, guys, it's just so frustrating. I just need to sit down and figure out the, well, I'm sitting at the moment, but still, like, it's just so bad that I don't know what to say about it. You want to figure some correct order in which you want to merge these vertices into subtrees and then further merge subtrees into whatever you want to merge them in. I just don't see how it works. Okay, one more try and I'm done with this problem. How about instead of placing depths of LCA, and instead of placing LCA at all, no, but it's the same as taking everyone with the maximum depth node, which is incorrect. Or may it be incorrect, I don't know. Okay, maybe I just overcomplicated everything. That can't be right. That can't be right. That just can't. Because it obviously depends on which node do you choose as your deepest node. No, that must be wrong. I will be very disappointed if it works like this. Because then clearly I don't understand something. What? Why? Why? No, honestly, what? Oh, okay. Okay, last try. I really don't want to keep going with that problem. I'm clearly missing something about it. Because you can't just take this deepest node. You can't just try one deepest node, because what about other deepest nodes? No. What? You can just use one deep. What the? I don't have a proof for that. Clearly you have to just look at a lot of examples. Okay. Fuck that shit on that. Thanks everyone for watching. Guys, if you want to understand how lowest common ancestor actually works, I have a separate video for that. I will try to put it in the links somewhere. I'm not sure, probably down in the description, and hopefully I can make it appear on the screen. But that was a disappointing contest. No, actually that's, I just, I don't know. Whenever I participate in programming competitions, I don't feel like proving something, and therefore I often try to be overly safe, let's put it this way. So yeah, try more options than necessary. But apparently this works. I'm not sure how, but we are one of the several people who got all problems. Actually, one of 10 people in D1, Alex Weiss, has a hard time with that problem, so can't blame me for taking a long to solve it. But most of 6-star coders solve it, but not all. So if you're just starting out with CP, forget about that problem. You probably don't need it, and you won't need it for, I don't know, I would say at least next 4 months. Regardless of how fast you improve, it's unlikely that you will improve from 1-star to 6-star in under 4 months, unless you have a lot of experience on different platforms. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. If you want to see more videos like that, please subscribe. That will help you see them faster than if you don't subscribe. So yep, that's how it works. I can't tell you much more about it. So yeah, this is it for me for today. I missed AdCoder beginner contest, and I also missed AdCoder regular contest yesterday because you need to have some work-life balance. Even if CP is not your work, you still don't do it every day unless you feel like it. For example, today I didn't feel like waking up at 5:30 a.m. for lead code, and I didn't wake up. That's reasonable. You don't have to participate in every contest to be good. You don't have to participate in every contest to enjoy CP. And that's more important actually than being good. So yeah, that's it for me for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.